Ready for medical career growth? Yes, you are in the right place. Hello, this is Dr. Neema Bisht, BDS by degree and a pharma professional. As a founder of CareerInPharma, our mission is to guide medical professionals towards remarkable success in the pharma industry. With a track record of over 700 plus students trained and placed into various premier pharma companies, we are here to elevate your journey.
Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all to another episode of important interview questions for pharmacovigilance at a fresher level. Now today in this video we are going to talk about what do you understand by a valid case. Okay, so that we are going to discuss in today's video, which is very important interview question for pharmacovigilance profiles such as pharmacovigilance executive, safety associate trainee, means all the profile which are available in pharmacovigilance at a fresher level. Yes, so let's begin this video. Now the same question can be asked in different ways. So the interviewer may ask you what is case validity in pharmacovigilance, or what is a valid case in pharmacovigilance, or what are the different minimum criteria required for any case to be called as a valid case. So these are the different ways to ask, these are the different ways the interviewer may ask you the question. Yes, but answer remains same for all. Yes, so let's begin. What is a valid case? What are the different criteria to classify any case as a valid case in pharmacovigilance? Yes, so first of all, what is valid and non-valid case? See, valid cases are those cases in pharmacovigilance which we are submitting to regulatory authorities. Okay, now if any case is not meeting a criteria of valid case, then that case we are not going to submit to regulatory authorities, and that case will be a non-valid case. So although we are doing entry of those cases into database, but that will not go to all the workflows. Okay, now what are different workflows pharmacovigilance, will tell you in the coming upcoming videos. As of now, you just understand that any case which is valid will go through all the workflows till medical review, and after that we are going to submit the case to the regulatory authority. But any case, if it is not valid, it's a non-valid case. In that case, that case will not go to all the workflow, because we are not going to submit that case to the regulatory authorities. Yes, but yeah, we are going to enter that case into the database, so that whenever any follow-up is coming for the same case, and in follow-up version, if the same case is becoming valid, then we are again going to open new version of the case, and we are going to cross this case from all the workflows, and when it become valid in subsequent versions, then we are going to submit it to the regulatory authorities. Yes, so this is about what is valid, non-valid, and which will go to the regulatory authorities. Now, what are the different criteria to classify any report as a valid report? Report here report means ICSR. Okay, so validity and these minimum criteria which I am talking here is in relation to the individual case safety report, and other reports like spontaneous, even literature reports also comes into this, where we need to look for few criteria to classify that report as a valid report. Now, what are the minimum criteria? So there are 4 minimum criteria. It means if any report is coming to you, in that report all these criteria should be there. So this is the minimum criteria. Okay, minimum means all these identifiers should be there. If any one of is missing, then that case will not be a valid case. So let's check what are these minimum criteria. So first criteria is any ICSR which is coming to you should be having a identifiable reporter. Yes, reporter means any person who is reporting that case. That identifier, reporter should be identifiable with the report. Okay. Second criteria is the identifiable patient. So whatever the patient is there in that ICSR, in that report, that patient should also be identifiable. Means there should be proper patient demographics, there should be proper patient details in the report. Third criteria is there should be an identifiable company suspect product. Means there should be some company product which we can take as a suspect. Okay, if there is no company product. Now company product here means for whatever company you are working. Okay, let's say you are working in CRO, and if the CRO has, for example, if the CRO has AstraZeneca as their client, so your report should contain the AstraZeneca product on which you are working as a suspect in this report. That here we mean to say company suspect product. If the report is there and there is a suspect product also, but that product is not a AstraZeneca product, in that case again it will not be a valid case. Fourth criteria is identifiable suspected event. Obviously there should be identifiable adverse event, otherwise if it's just a report where no adverse event happened, then this case is not be a valid case. Yes. So the minimum 4 criteria to classify any ICSR or case in pharmacovigilance as a valid ICSR or a valid case is, first of all, identifiable reporter, then identifiable patient, and then there should be identifiable company suspect product, and there should be identifiable suspected event. These are the minimum 4 criteria. Yes. So the lack of any of these 4 elements means that the case is not a complete case. Okay, we will consider it as a incomplete case, and will consider it as a non-valid case, and it will not qualify for regulatory reporting. Yes. Now any case report that does not meet these criteria, these 4 minimum criteria, it should be further investigated. Although we are making it a non-valid case, but always follow up information we inquire, and the case will be further investigated so that the missing information can be obtained. And if in the missing or follow up information whatever is coming, if again that making the case valid, then in the subsequent version we are going to make the case valid. Yes. So these are the minimum criteria to classify any adverse event or ICSR or any case in pharmacovigilance as a valid case. Now I am going to talk little bit in detail about what does this identifiable reporter means, patient means, company suspect product means, and adverse event means, right? So identifiable reporter means, like I said, from the report we should be able to identify who is reporting this case, qualification of the reporter, and address. Yes. Now it contains reporter's name or initials and address. Let's say if the report is any healthcare professional is sending the report, then the name of the hospital where the person is working, the doctor's number, doctor's qualification, doctor's email address. Means basic things through which we can do follow up, those should be present, right? Means see it with every all the reports when they come initially, they are never complete. Always, I mean very rarely we get a complete report. So there is always a scope of follow up. Definitely for follow up you need to have some address, some phone number, okay, some email address where you can connect with the reporter and you can make the follow up. Yes. So these reporter information should be there, like name, initials, qualification should be there, address, phone number, email, right? Now the reporter could be, like I said, it could be healthcare professional. Healthcare professionals could be doctor. We can say those who are medically qualified. So it could be a doctor, dentist, pharmacist, nurse, okay, and any other person who is designated as a medically qualified person by local regulations. Yes. And reporter may also be a consumer, means patient. Okay, the patient could be a reporter, or maybe the patient's relative could be a reporter. So it could be consumer, patient relatives. Okay, any literature article author could also be a reporter. If the report is a literature report, literature article, then in that case the reporter will be the literature article author. Regulatory authorities can also be reporter. Okay, so directly regulatory authorities also reports the case. So regulatory authority also could be a reporter, and clinical study, clinical trial investigator, that is principal investigator, or any clinical research team member like clinical research coordinators could also be reporter. Yes. So for the reporter to be considered identifiable, contact details need to be available. Yes, because with the help of contact details only, we will be able to do the follow-up. Yes. Now the second criteria, that is identifiable patient. Now what all things should be there so that we can identify the patient is, there should be patient initial, there should be some patient identification number. Yes, there should be patient's medical records numbers. Okay, age group, if females, then gestation period, gender of the patient should be there, date of birth should also be there. Yes. So the information should be as complete as possible in accordance with the local data protection laws. Means the report should complete also, and it should follow the data privacy laws also. Yes. So this is about the patient identifiers. We also call it as patient demographics for patient information. Yes. Now third identifier is suspected company product. Yes, like I already said, the report must having a product which we are calling it as a suspect, and it should be a company product. Okay, it should not be like that we are getting any report where let's say we are working for AstraZeneca is our client. So in that report, let's say there is some suspect which is not a AstraZeneca product, then in that case this report will not be valid, because we have a suspect in this report, but that is not a company suspect. Yes, so we are bothered about company suspect, doesn't matter what other suspects are there. So we will database it, but we are going to make this case non-valid, and we are not going to submit it to the regulatory authority. Last criteria is at least one suspected adverse event. So the adverse event could be anything, but it should contain the detailed information on the adverse event. So there should be a clear-cut explanation of what happened to the patient after taking the drug, the product, and it should not be like that only there is a suspect product without any adverse event. So if no adverse event is there in the report, in that case again this case will be a non-valid case. Yeah. Now in literature cases, literature reports, what is the validity criteria? So literature reports are considered valid only if they contain at least one adverse event identified by the publication's author. Yes, and it should be having a reasonable possibility to be related to the company product. And for literature report, like I already said, the author will be the reporter. Yes. Now if you are getting any report through digital media, through social media, lay media reports also we call it as, there also we should be having all the minimum criterias, and the reporting source must be identify the individual reporter. Then only we will consider social media report also as a valid report. If let's say anywhere in social media someone is discussing that I took this drug, this happened to me, and there is no identifiable reporter or patient, in that case also we are not going to make this case valid, although we will database it as a non-valid case. Yes. Now little bit I want to talk about the invalid ICSR, which is non-valid also we call it as, or incomplete case also we can call it as. So lack of any of this criteria, that is identifiable reporter, patient, suspected company product, and suspected event. Lack of any these four elements means that the case is considered incomplete, that is non-valid, and it does not qualify for regulatory reporting. Yes, but we always do follow up to gather more information so that we can report that case, so that we can have more information about that cases. Yes, so this is about non-valid cases. Now remember, non-valid cases we never report to regulatory authorities. Also non-valid cases does not require any medical review. So like I said, valid cases goes through all the steps. Like we have in case processing, we have intake, we have triage, we have case processing, then we have quality review, then we have medical review. Okay, these are the steps, and after medical review the case goes to regulatory authority. But if any case is there which is not a valid case, in that case only intake will happen, and we are just going to database it in the database, and we are just keeping that case into the database as a non-valid case. And in subsequent version, if any follow-up information comes which making the case as a valid case, then the same non-valid case will become valid and will go through all the workflow, and then we are going to submit it to the regulatory authorities. Yes, so this is all about this is all about valid cases in pharmacovigilance, and what is non-valid cases in pharmacovigilance, and what are the minimum criteria to classify any ICSR or a case or a report as a valid case report. Yes, so I hope you got a clear-cut idea on what is valid versus non-valid case versus minimum criteria to classify any adverse event as a valid event or a valid case or a valid report inside pharmacovigilance. Yes, but still, if you have any doubt, please comment below in the comment section, and I would love to clear all your doubts, and I would love to read all your comments. Yes, and please don't forget to like this video if you really like this content, if you really got clear-cut idea about valid cases, valid ICSR. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share this video with your friends who are looking for interview help for pharmacovigilance. So this is all about this video. We'll be coming soon with some fresh next video. Till the time I come again, till that time, please stay safe, aware, healthy, updated, and keep exploring new things. Have a nice day. Bye bye.